all-time favorites, AM 650 is CISL Vancouver. And now, it's Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Major League Soccer has gone quiet, and the World Cup has officially begun. It has kicked off Thursday with Brazil impressing, Spain surprising for all the wrong reasons. Holland, they were the ones that lit Spain up. Costa Rica shock a few, and, no draws to start the tournament so far. Good evening and welcome to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk here on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. My name's Tyler Green. On Twitter, at TylerGreenFC. Also available via a webcast and live streaming at www.am650radio.com. Thank you for listening, whether it's live, on the webcast, or on the podcast. It is the first half kickoff brought to you by KO, Kevin O'Toole, and findaproperty.ca. Looking for a new home, buying or selling? Kevin can help you out. He's got a great new place, 12th and Arbutus. It's in the old Carling O'Keefe Brewery. Kevin's going to unveil those details on Monday at findaproperty.ca. Kevin O'Toole, licensed realtor with Prudential Sussex Realty, online at findaproperty.ca. Well, the World Cup has officially begun, like we said, and it has kicked off, and so far it's pretty much had everything in it. Some brilliant goals already, some fun results, some surprising results, definitely some entertaining matches, and, if you follow the MLS, you're well aware of these officiating blunders. Which leads us to tonight's Barber Poll, brought to you by AnotherFineCut.com. What's the most entertaining match so far for you at the World Cup? Could it be the Brazil, the first match of the games? Is it the Netherlands lighting up the Spaniards? Really surprising, I think, everybody in that one. Perhaps Costa Rica from earlier today. Maybe it was England, Italy from earlier tonight. Let us know. Tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag BarberPoll on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 or TylerGreenFC. You can also email us at SoccerTalk650@gmail.com. 604-280-0650 is the number to call and weigh in on that. You want to remember that number because we have a pair of Whitecaps tickets to give away for their next home match. And you can also check out the Barber Poll on our Facebook page, facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. The Barber Poll brought to you by AnotherFineCut.com, Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, and the new location at Cambie and 18th. New Twitter address, though, at Barber & Co. Coming up in the first half of the program, Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk contributor Simon Fudge, who also writes for Goal.com. We're going to discuss the starting 11 as we do each and every week here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Obviously, it's going to be very World Cup focused today. A few tidbits of MLS, though, as John Hackworth, Philadelphia Union manager or head coach, and no longer. He got fired, so we'll get into a bit of those topics as well. And obviously, with the World Cup, we're going to chat with Bobby McMahon, Sportsnet analyst, soccer writer for both Forbes and Soccerly. He'll join us at 10:30 this evening. That brought to you, of course, by the DonnellyGroup.ca. All our World Cup coverage brought to you by the DonnellyGroup.ca, where we were earlier tonight for the England-Italy match at the Blackbird Bar. Dunsmuir and Hornby. Great location. Fun time there. Talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on. In the second half of the program, expert physios David Sandals will be by to chat. David is actually in Brazil right now. And if you watch the England game, there was some confusion on the sideline in front of the England bench after Daniel Sturridge scored the equalizer to make it 1-1 for England. Turns out that Gary Lewin, the England physio, dislocated his ankle while celebrating that goal. Well, David Sandals, of course, with expert physio, has worked with numerous things. Worked with the Whitecaps before, the Canadian Olympic teams as well. Rumors persist that David will be stepping in for Gary Lewin. We'll have to ask David about this if we can get him away from the Copacabana beach in Brazil. In the second half, we'll also chat with Harjeet Johal, better known, of course, as Hart Journalist on Twitter and in person. She's going to be by to chat about this Canadian women's national team. They have a match against the powerhouse Germans on Wednesday at BC Place Stadium. John Herdman earlier, about a week ago, with the year kickoff to the World Cup here in Canada and the final in Vancouver, saying that he predicts a Canada-U.S. final. Is John Herdman crazy? Is he just pumping up the Canadian tires here for the sake of drubbing up some interest? We'll ask Har when she joins us about 11:30 this evening. And as always, we'll have the manager's rant. And, well, there's no Saturday without some hot fudge, and Simon Fudge is going to be bringing us that. But again, you're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, and we've got a lot to get into here on the program, so we're not going to waste any time. It is on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. That's am650radio.com. Again, my name's Tyler Green, Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, and Goal.com contributor Simon Fudge and I will debate the starting 11 next.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
The Donnelly Group has soccer fever, so they're throwing open the doors to 9 of their famous public houses at 9 a.m. for all 64 matches in Brazil. Come watch the game live. Brunch is served at every venue, and there are 540 Carlsbergs. So wake up with soccer, Samba style, and make sure you're at one of these Donnelly Group establishments. The Blackbird, the Butcher and Bullock, Tavern, the New Oxford, Library Square, Cinema, the Bimini, Lamplighter, or 3 Brits. Get details at donnellygroup.ca.
It was true Italy. Every weekend, the Dussault family gathered to share laughter and plates of homemade pasta. So when the Dussault brothers came to Canada, rather than become homesick for the good times, they opened Dussauts on Granville Island. A generation later, the Dussauts are still creating authentic, home-style Italian pasta and sauce from natural ingredients. Great carbs and quick, healthy meals. Official pasta of the Vancouver Canucks and Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Look for Dussauts fresh pasta and sauce at your local grocery store. Visit Dussauts, DUSOS.com.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the big league. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
Early job seekers try to find clever ways to send their resumes to employers, such as carrier pigeons,
Incoming!
singing telegrams.
Jason has an MBA, doo-da, doo-da.
Today, all the modern job seeker needs is VancouverJobShop.ca. You can upload your resume for free. So, instead of being clever...
And our next dedication goes out to that very special hospital administrator looking for an IT director.
You can just be smart. VancouverJobShop.ca. Long name, amazing results.
We're back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps in Major League Soccer now on hiatus until the Caps host Montreal on the 25th, but a few MLS items in the starting 11, and well, we're going to get into that right now with show contributor and Goal.com writer Simon Fudge. Simon Fudge 74 on Twitter. My name, of course, Tyler Green, Tyler Green FC on Twitter. And let's start with number 1 on the starting 11, which is an MLS question. Philadelphia Union recently, or early this week really, let go of manager John Hackworth. He lost his gig. So who is the next Major League Soccer manager to lose their job, Simon?
Well, even though I think they've been through 2 managers already in their early MLS career and have defended the Voyageurs Cup title, I see Frank Klopas not lasting in Montreal. He'll be probably, for me, the next to go. It's a very volatile place, is Montreal, the hottest of the hot seats in the league. And they're not looking good to make the playoffs, despite the fact they're going to play Champions League football later this year. And I've also been hearing that the harmony in the place, the Stade Saputo, is not very good. And when you add up the fact that the Impact is just a soccer soap opera, I think he's the next to go.
I would completely agree with you. I think he's the next guy to go. Yeah, they're in Champions League, but it's just not going to happen in terms of doing very well, I think, in that tournament. And two, like you said, the playoff picture is somewhat grim for them. So I think those two factors are going to mean that Frank Klopas is the next guy to go. And unfortunately for Montreal, well, you know what? Hey, look at Vancouver. They went through a few managers before they found one they liked. Same went for Toronto. So why should Montreal be any different? They should follow the same Canadian tradition of going through a few managers.
Number 2, which player would you have loved to see in action at the 2014 World Cup?
Well, I don't know if we're ever going to get to see him in a World Cup because he plays for Wales, but Gareth Bale is my pick to see a guy that I would love to see in the World Cup. He did so much, especially in that Champions League matches throughout for Real Madrid. I would love to see Gareth Bale and see what he could do against some of the world's best in a country competition like the World Cup. Hopefully we get to see him in maybe in a Euro at some point. It's going to be tough. Wales is just one of those countries that just doesn't quite have it. But, maybe Gareth Bale's a guy that can take his country to that next level, but I would love to see Gareth Bale in this World Cup.
I would have liked to have seen him as well. I think the way that he has just grown with his career, things he did at Spurs, and especially this season at Real Madrid, it would have been a stage for him that I think he would have lapped up big time. But sadly, I think much like how people would have loved to see George Best at a World Cup representing Northern Ireland, I just don't see Wales reaching a major tournament anytime soon. There's just not enough in that squad right now to be able to achieve qualification for a Euro or a World Cup.
Number 3 on the starting 11, which one team would you like to see live at a World Cup?
Really tough choice when I looked at this, but I'm going to say Argentina would be the team I would love to see live at a World Cup, especially this year in Brazil. The Albiceleste, so many attacking options. They'd be just a joy to watch and pleasure on the eye for 90 minutes. And coupled with a large following coming just over the border from Brazil for these finals, it'd be an in-demand ticket for me. Would love to see Argentina live.
Now, I've had the chance to go to a bunch of different World Cups, and granted the players have changed in a few of those, but I've gotten to see a bunch of different teams, whether it's Spain, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Germany, England, what have you. But one team that I have seen once, but this was a long time ago in 2002, that I would love to see again, just because it would be an opportunity to see Andrea Pirlo play sort of one final time. I would love to see Italy play that one final time in a tournament, especially for Pirlo, a guy like Buffon as well, just to see those two players play, knowing what they have done in their careers. That's, for me, the team that I would like to see that one final time in live, especially in this tournament here.
Number 4, is this a make-or-break year for which player at the World Cup?
Well, I think there's two, and it's funny because I was watching the coverage on CBC earlier tonight, and one of the commentators said, hey, they're young. We're going to get to see them again. But you know what? You never know whether you're going to get to see somebody. You never know if this is going to be your last opportunity to play in a World Cup. And for me, it's two players. It's Cristiano Ronaldo and it's Lionel Messi. Many factors will determine whether or not you make a next World Cup. You could have a horrific injury. You could just have a minor injury that keeps you out of a World Cup. And that would be devastating. And I think those two players have had so much pressure. They're battling for, the best player in the world, one of the best player of all time. Well, until they get it done on a national or a world stage, an international stage, for me, those are the two players that have to do something in this World Cup. They don't necessarily have to win it, but they have to lift their team on their backs at some point and take them and carry them through to at least a semifinal berth.
It's one player for me, but it is one of the two choices you made. It's Lionel Messi. He's delivered so much as a Barcelona player and has teased to do the same with Argentina in the past. But this World Cup is the stage for which we need to see him flourish and eternally put himself amongst soccer's great players. I think the conditions and the shape of that squad that he's part of, it's just right for him to be able to make that leap, go very far, if not lift the trophy. So for me, it's Lionel Messi.
Number 5 on the starting 11. How do you rate the refereeing so far at the World Cup?
Well, we've had 3 days of action, so I give it an average rating after those 3 days. I don't think we saw very good things from the start, certainly in the opening match. But today was far better, and it's worth pointing out that probably one of the better refereeing or officials performances we got was from an MLS referee, Mark Geiger, which included the Canadian linesman Joe Fletcher, who's the only Canadian involved in any capacity, player referee-wise, at this World Cup for their efforts in that 3-0 win by Colombia over Greece. Today, overall, was actually quite encouraging because there were some very good refereeing decisions made, I think, in the game between Uruguay and Costa Rica. And I think we may get a bit of hit and miss, but average rating at this point, but I expect it to get better.
I'm completely agree. Average at best for me. We've seen, I think, some horrible calls, and like you said, Mark Geiger was great as a referee. I think today the German referee as well was quite good. He was excellent also. So I think that we've seen some good refereeing jobs happen over today anyway. But we've seen some very poor refereeing, and hopefully it does get better. And you know, it's funny. It's the same thing. It's these guys that are competing as well for jobs later on in the tournament, whether they get to get to referee the final, etc. So it's up to them as well to do a good job. And yeah, average at best for me so far this World Cup.
Number 6 is Robin van Persie's Flying Dutchman header in yesterday's 5-1 win over Spain going to be the goal of the tournament.
So far, yeah, I don't know if I've seen one better. I've seen a lot of typical goals that you kind of see in play over in Europe, over in North America. You just kind of see those same things, but this one just it had everything. It was that run, it was the dive, it was so far out that he actually was able to chip. I think he got a little bit lucky at the same time. Casillas also maybe misplayed it a little bit in terms of getting caught out a little bit, but for me, it just had everything that you kind of want in that one goal that I think so far it is the goal of the tournament, and I think it might hold out. Somebody else has got to do something brilliant in order to take over.
I will say it will not be the goal of the tournament. It looks spectacular, but I didn't think it had the degree of difficulty that such a ranking for a top goal of the tournament requires. For example, a long-range shot into the top corner of the goal is one thing that I would rate higher, or a dribble by a player through several players before scoring to make it is the thing that you want to see. A Saeed Al-Oriran of Saudi Arabia back from USA 94, something like that. Maradona against England in 1986. Very much up there, that goal, but degree of difficulty for me is needed, and I think we have plenty of time and plenty of games for that top goal to come.
Number 7 on the starting 11. Biggest surprise team so far at the World Cup. Now we're only obviously a few days in and only a couple group stages in here, but surprise team so far for you?
Costa Rica, hands down. Honestly, did anyone expect that result today against Uruguay? I probably would say no. It was sensational second half turnaround by Los Ticos, and they thoroughly deserved it for the way they played and took the game to the South Americans after the break. I mean, with that win, the group they're in now, I think it's Group D, really is now totally up in the air. And I really do now feel that one of the 3 big countries in that group, Uruguay, Italy, or England, is not going to get out of the group stage as a result of them having put themselves in the mix to be able to get through.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Simon, but one of those teams wouldn't have made it through anyway.
Well,
anyway,
it would, but the thing is that they could actually make it 2 out of the 3. That's what I'm thinking. Instead of 1, I'm thinking 2.
Okay. The biggest surprise for me is Spain, and not in a good way. It's in a bad way. And, you know, it's funny. Leading up to this tournament, everyone was saying, you know, Spain is one of those teams that it's getting a little bit older. It's the guys, maybe haven't been playing as much as they have in years previous. But they still have that talent to do things and do things on a high level. And they do. But they were just so completely dismantled by Holland that for me, that is just so surprising. There are so many holes opened up by the Dutch team. I was completely shocked and surprised at what happened. I wasn't surprised that they lost to Holland. I thought that Holland had a good chance of beating them. I picked them in our World Cup bracket to beat Spain in that first game. Did I think it was going to be 5-1? Not at all. And for me, Spain, the biggest surprise, and not in a good way.
Number 8, does Spain goalkeeper Iker Casillas deserve to start again in the next match for his country, or should they go to Pepe Reina or David De Gea?
Well, I don't know if he deserves to start in the next match because I think he made a lot of goalkeeping blunders and maybe some positioning mistakes. But I think that Vincent Del Bosque is going to come back with them. It's one of those types of performances that you never want to leave at, and unfortunately, it's one that he might never make it to another World Cup again. And do you want to leave on that note? It would be horrific for Casillas. And I think that they'll come back and he'll go again to redeem himself. And I think he will redeem himself in the next match. He didn't play a lot of league games for Real Madrid, but he did play a lot of the cup competitions. And he did extremely well in those and sort of made up for some mistakes here and there. But I think he will come back, and Reina and De Gea's time is not quite ready just yet.
Well, if I'm Vicente Del Bosque, my biggest concern is Casillas' mentality after that defeat to Holland. And if he feels that he's not in the right state of mind, it may be wise for him to make that change. So that's something I think that Del Bosque's really got to consider. More pertinent for Del Bosque and for Spain is their backline, because that was what was really badly exposed in this defeat to the Dutch. Sergio Ramos and Jared Pico really struggled to deal with the speedy Dutch attack. And the fact that they got opened up as much as they did is really going to have the ears up of a lot of Spain's opponents in the group or further down the line to sort of say, that's where they can get at them. So for Del Bosque, I think it's his center back pairing that he's got to be worried about a little bit more right now.
Only at Kia Vancouver, free lifetime car washes, oil change, and get this, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking. Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. It is number 9 on the starting 11. The most entertaining match so far at the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil.
Well, I mentioned it earlier from a previous question pertaining to something else. And all of them have been entertaining games to this stage. But if I was to fly a pro-CONCACAF flag, if I had one, Costa Rica's comeback over Uruguay would be my choice. Totally unexpected and impressive from Los Ticos. Who would have thought coming up to a game they would come up short that they would turn that around after trailing 1-0 at the break. Joel Campbell up front for them was just immense for the Central Americans today. And I enjoyed it. It was most entertaining for me because it was the most surprising. So it got my ears up, and that's why I probably enjoyed that game the most.
And in fact, CONCACAF does have a flag that you could wave, Simon. So we'll have to get one in for you next show, perhaps.
Be flying it. Just my arms be moving totally right now as we speak.
For me, it goes to that Holland and Spain game that was entertaining, and it's one of those games that just kind of had everything. It had some terrible play. It had some brilliant goals. It had just entertainment factor all over it, and of course it had some extremely attractive wags in the audience as well. So for me, overall, the Holland-Spain game, the most entertaining match so far of the World Cup.
I thought you'd use the word or phrase full package as well on that one. Eh? Okay,
there you are. Did have the full package.
Okay, number 10. Who wins the Golden Boot at the World Cup in Brazil this summer?
You know what? I think obviously you can go with so many different choices, but Neymar already has 2 goals, and I think that he's probably going to be the guy that is able to continue it on throughout the tournament. just because the fact that I think Brazil is going to be going the distance in the tournament, not necessarily right to the final, but they are going to have an extended stay in the tournament. And I think Neymar is the guy that is going to be able to consistently put some goals into the net, and he's going to end up being the Golden Boot winner.
Strong choice based on the fact that they're an attacking side and are going to go far in the tournament. Probably the two requirements you got to look at if you're going to try and pick a Golden Boot winner. For me, it will be Sergio Aguero of Argentina. That supporting cast he's got around him, led by Lionel Messi, will prove invaluable for him to be able to get on the end of so many of attacks that they're probably going to create. They're expected to go far in the tournament, if not win it. And I think he will at the end of the day. And I think especially if they win the World Cup, it will see Aguero being a big part of it and having scored more goals than anybody else.
All right, and finally, number 11 on the starting 11. We've seen some of the uniforms in action so far. Still a lot more to come, but Simon, number 11, best uniforms at the 2014 World Cup is...
For me, it's Chile's first choice red kit. Really stood out for me yesterday. Really like the look of it, the way they've worked their national colors of red, white, and blue, and just really fancy it. And considering I'm keeping a very close eye on them in this tournament, was kind of nice to kind of look at it and think. It actually made me want to really consider go out and buying their kit, which was something before yesterday I wasn't planning on doing in terms of any team buying a kit. So also want to give a strong honorable mention to the 3 kits that Belgium have, the red, the black, and the yellow. I think those are really nice as well.
Well, I'll start one. I like the England kit. I'm wearing it right now if you're watching on am650radio.com. I think it's very clean, very simple, and I like that in a jersey. Last week I had the away Germany kit, which I'm a big fan of, the red and black. But the kit that I like the most is a country that I don't even cheer for, but I have one of the jerseys because I'm a collector of kits, and that is France. And I like the blue is my top choice. For that. I like the look of it. I think it's a very simple but classy looking jersey. It doesn't have a lot of those weird details that some jerseys like to put on them. For example, Mexico and the weird lightning bolts that they have on the front of their jersey. So for me, it is that France kit that I like the best out of all of the kits so far at this year's World Cup. And then, of course, we're going to bring in our executive producer, Christina, who is also going to weigh in because she has a pick that she really likes as her number 1 kit at the World Cup so far.
I saw this one yesterday. Our friend Martin at Another Fine Cut was sporting the France striped kit.
It's the white one with the nautical navy blue stripes.
Full-on navy stripes, and that had my eye for sure. For me, anything that says Navy, anything that reminds me of sailors, I'm a fan. So, although I'm cheering for the Netherlands, France might have just got me with the kit.
So it's got the white and navy nautical stripes. You liked how it looked on Martin.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go, Christina. She even. Now, because of that, I think she bought her dad a gift certificate to Another Fine Cut for a hot shave as well for Father's Day tomorrow.
Yeah,
very nice.
Taking him into Dominion Barbers next week to see Martin there. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Christina hoping that Martin's wearing his France shirt. Thanks, Christina. That does it for the starting 11 for today. And like Christina did, hey, you can get your dad a gift card for anotherfinecut.com. Great Father's Day gift, so check it out. If you'd like to weigh in on any of those topics in the starting 11, you can do so. You can tweet us at SoccerTalk650, Tyler Green FC, and Simon Fudge 74, or Christina Dyke as well. You can tweet her and let her know that you are not a fan of the France kit, or perhaps you love the France kit. So let her know as well. Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Let's talk some May Fantasy League contest presented by Umbro Canada. For June, it's pretty simple. There's not a lot of Major League Soccer games happening through the month of June. They're taking a little bit of a break here. So it's pretty simple. Finish 30th in the overall standings for 30 days in June, and you're going to walk away with an Umbro prize pack. If you want to enter the Fantasy League, just visit facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan for all the details on how to join. It's presented by Umbro Canada. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football. You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk here on AM 650 Radio. Up next, well, more World Cup chatter with Sportsnet analyst, Forbes writer, and Scottish icon Bobby McMahon is next.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they'd choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
What's it like to score in the beautiful game? Come to Kia Vancouver and find out. Score the best price during Kia's 2014 FIFA World Cup sales event. Plus, get 0% financing for 84 months and up to $4,000 in cash bonuses on select models. And only at Kia Vancouver, score free lifetime car washes, free lifetime oil changes, free lifetime airport shuttle and parking, and always service with a smile. Kia Vancouver, the power to surprise at KiaVancouver.com and on Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of AnotherFineCut.com. Here's how it works. Go to AnotherFineCut.com. Book your appointment at one of their 3 unique to their area barbershops in Gastown, Yaletown, or the Financial District. You can just walk in, too, and get your haircut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. You deserve this. A great wedding party idea, too. AnotherFineCut.com.
Money. It's your money with Fred Snyder.
You take 100 people to start at Equal today. At the age of 25, by the time they end up at 65, 1 is rich or well-to-do, 5 are still working, 36 are dead, and the rest might just as well be dead. There's 54 of them. They're dead broke, dependent on family and state. And the main reason is they don't have the knowledge, they didn't have the financial plan, and we're providing you with all that here on this show.
Fred Snyder, Sunday mornings from 9 to 11 on All Time Favorites, AM 650.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
Now here's your host.